Please go ahead and retry this question before watching the video. So we'll address the easy part first, and then we'll give you a little trick to be able to get the second part. So this is a parallelism question. Anytime you have multiple verbs in a sentence, the verbs need to be parallel with each other. And so in this case, Bentley would collect is one of the verbs, and snapping slash snap is the other verb. So Bentley would collect the snowflakes and snap a photo is what you would want to say. Answer B and C says, and snapping a photo. So when you were approaching this, you might have read the entire sentence, which makes it harder to hear that those two verbs aren't parallel. And that is one of the recommendations we make on clause questions slash any question that has a parenthetical in it. It is very often easiest to simply not read the parenthetical. And so we're not going to read putting them on a microscope because it's parenthetical. And when you do that, you'll find these questions will be much easier. So we can eliminate B and C because of the parallelism problem of would collect and snapping not being parallel. And that just leaves us with A and D. It has the correct verb, snap, in both. And so we just need to decide, do we need the comma or not need the comma? So in this scenario, we already talked about that being a parenthetical, which means we're not going to read it. However, you might not have recognized that that's supposed to be parenthetical. And so we're going to give you some advice on how to do that. If you see a participle followed by a verb, this is a very common setup that the ACT uses to separate verbs from their subjects. And so if you notice that, you should know that there's probably going to need to be a comma between that parenthetical and the future verb, which will come usually immediately after the phrase that the parenthetical starts or the participle starts. And that is the case here. And you can also tell that that's correct because if we take out that parenthetical, it sounds great. Bentley would collect the snowflakes and snap a photo. Sounds perfect. And that one is our correct answer, answer D.